morning. I'm Reverend Michelle Scott Huffman. In case you all don't recognize me, I've been gone for a couple weeks. So I said I didn't remember how to get here this morning. But I'm interrupting the normal flow of the service because I want to say this 3 times today. We are currently in a search for a choir director. So if you are a musical person in that way, or you know a musical person in that way, there's information on some of the bulletin boards and out on the table. So please help us get connected with whoever our next choir director needs to be.
Good morning. I'd like to welcome all of you to First Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Lynn Schlunz. I use she, her pronouns, and I am, happy 4th of July. Oh, sorry. I forget that I can't walk around. I kind of like to walk around when I'm up here, but I can't. Whether you are with us on site or on Zoom, whether it is your first time or one of many, we are glad you are here today. We hope that you can stay for coffee and conversation after the service. The chalice lighter in the sanctuary is Caro. And the chalice lighting words are beautifully bound by Reverend Scott Taylor. Notice now this flame, seemingly so singular, flickering unfettered, dancing all alone, yet pull back, look with more attentive eyes, and slowly the chalice cup comes into view, and the air, while unseen, keeps the flame alive. All of it a reminder that being lovingly surrounded and beautifully bound is what sets us free. May this be the gift of our precious hour. May we, too, pull back and see ourselves anew. How tenderly tethered we've become, and how wonderfully that has set us free.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer Dunn, and I use she, her pronouns, and I'm very happy to be here with my UU family today as usual. Today, instead of a storybook, we have a video for you that was recommended by Colleen. Thank you for finding that. It was made during the COVID-19 quarantine by the Pivot Theater Company. The audio and video of the children and youth were recorded in their homes as they each sang the song Free to Be You and Me by Stephen J. Lawrence and Bruce Hart, arranged by Krista Dalmazio. And now we all get to see and hear them.
With me, take my hand and child in the land. May you all understand that you're proud and you're strong and you are right where you belong. Take my hand, come with me, where the people are free. Come with me, take my hand, and we'll run to a land where the river runs free, to a land with a green country, to a land to a shining sea, to a land where the horses run free, to a land where the people are free. And you and me are free to be, and you and me are free to be,
And you and me are free to be.
you and me. You and me. And you and me are free to be, you and me.
Okay, it's time for each of you to light your little chalices if you haven't already done so. And as you take them with you downstairs, remember that they represent the light and the love of everyone here going with you. We will all sing On Your Way to You now as you head downstairs. The prelude is a sanctuary meditation by David Paxton and performed by Colleen.
Good morning. My name is Tate Aldrich. I'm a short, white, bald guy still, and I'm wearing one of our awesome UU t-shirts. Today's words of invitation are "To the People Who Have Mistaken Freedom for Liberation" by Julian Jamaica Soto. To be free, you must embrace the breadth of your own existence without apology, even if they try to take it from you. You must know not that you can do whatever you want. You are not a kudzu vine eating the entire hillsides for the purpose of feeding your own lush life. You must know instead that inside you are entire universes, milky blue, magenta, and gold, expanding. But to actually be free, you must know and you must fight for the entire universes inside of everyone else. Being free is not a license, but a promise. Our hymn of the month for July is This Is My Song. It's number 159 in the gray hymnal, and the words will also be on the screens. You are welcome to stand or remain seated as we sing together.
You may notice the screens are working. Thank you, Neil.
Well, good morning. Well, that was nice. Good morning again. Hi. That's pretty good. My name is Mark McGinn. My noun is comrade, and my pronouns are he and him. Oh, you're not hearing me yet, me and my lousy voice. Thank you. Got it. If I start, wave at me. Throw something. Tomatoes, brickbats, they're all the same. Let's see, I'm wearing yellow and black and I don't know what color that is up there. Oh, I'm wearing an orange do-rag. Okay. I put it on too early to remember. Let's see, that's the wrong one. There we go. Okay. As a community, we share joys and concerns to keep connected. Slips of paper are available at the greeters table for those in sanctuary to use for joys and concerns. During the week, you may send your joys and concerns by email to pastoralcare@springfielduu.org or by leaving a voicemail on the church phone, which is 417-883-3922. If you're on Zoom, please use the chat box now for sharing your joys and concerns. All these joys and concerns will be included in a member's email on Tuesday. We honor each joy and concern with a lighted candle, a symbol of the love that we as a community offer each other these joys and concerns. Do we have a candle? Here comes the candle lighter. You can tell by the light in his eyes. Okay. And now, as we begin this time of sharing, know that we are in multiple places. We are in multiple physical places, and we are together in beloved community. To begin, we hold and love all of us, those present and those absent. We light a candle for our church community. Okay, I have a number of these up here. This one is from Becca. I believe it's a joy. Oh, let's see, that's, Becca, is this counseling business? Yeah. Okay, counseling business. Was?
I write bad enough to be a doctor.
Yeah.
A local counselor has been ill.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Brian Vagel, a local counselor and business owner,
Is,
his church has been ill.
and he's hospitalized and is now home.
Otherwise, now he's home recovering.
And please send good energy for his recovery. So this is both a joy and a concern. And Becca, thank you for bailing me out. This one is from Roberta. I love it. Fridge and kitchen will be emptied out tomorrow, Monday. Collect your stuff today. Don't let it sit and rot. This one is from Anonymous. Maybe not so much. It's the choir director search is on. So we might know who that came from. And this one is from Scoop. Are you here, Scoop? Okay, Sky Scoop. July 12th movie is the title of this one. Free movie at 6 p.m. tonight at Moxie about boy and Bayard. Oh, I see. Thank you. Bayard Rustin, brother outside, brother outsider, sponsored by the NAACP and Flag, and that's this evening, right? Yes. That's this evening. I'll repeat. Free, and it's at 6 p.m. at the Moxie. Does everybody know where that? Is that down? Okay, so downtown, so people know where that is. Great. Do we have anything from the chat box? We do, and here she comes to bail me out. Just this one, that's the only one? Okay. Joy from choir director, search team. Are you under there? Okay. We are ready to find our next choir director. This might be the most fun paid position we have. We are overjoyed already that someone here may know or be the right person. And if you are, stand up or stay seated. You're going to float now. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's gotten into me this morning. It's being with you guys that does it. Let's see. We honor the complex and heartbreaking struggles of our world. We light a candle for all whom are impacted. There's a candle. In closing, for those joys and concerns that remain unspoken in our hearts, and they're there, we light a candle. May we hold each of these joys and concerns in our hearts and minds. May our community of love ease sorrow and boost celebration. Let us now join in 1 minute of shared silence, followed by Spirit of Life.
Good morning. I'm Rebecca Holt. I use she, her pronouns. And the most important thing about me, I want to tell you, is that I wear this loop every Sunday, which is a hearing loop that's connected to the FM radio that we have available. If you have trouble listening or hearing in the service, come talk to me. We have some extra ones. July 11th, 1767, marks the birth of John Quincy Adams. Born in Braintree, now Quincy, Massachusetts, he was the son of John Adams, the second president of the United States. After graduating from Harvard College, he became a lawyer and served in a variety of governmental posts, particularly in foreign service. His offices included U.S. Senator, Minister to Russia, Chairman of the U.S. Peace Commission at Ghent in England, U.S. Minister to England, and Secretary of State under President James Monroe, for whom he authored what became known as the Monroe Doctrine, asserting U.S. primacy over other powers interested in the Americas. In 1824, he was elected President of the United States and later served in the U.S. House of Representatives. Born into the Unitarian Church of Braintree, he was a founding member of the Unitarian Church of All Souls in Washington, D.C., and is buried with his wife and parents at the church in Quincy. He died on February 23rd, 1848. The offering we take each Sunday is an opportunity to commit to this place, to these people. It is as much a ritual as singing together, lighting our chalice, or reciting our unison affirmation. It is a reminder of that form of love we call generosity. It is how we show that we believe it is important to worship together, to help our community, and to say yes to the values of our faith. Virtual giving options are available via our website, springfielduu.org. The offertory is Open Roads by Michael Scott, performed by Colleen.
Hello again. Did y'all hear we were hiring a choir director? I am Reverend Dr. Michelle Scott Huffman. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a middle, sort of mid-height woman of normally pale, although a little bit sunburnt skin, with short, spiky, salt and pepper hair, wearing, I don't know, maybe olive taupe, something like that today. So, I don't know how it is where you live, but in my neighborhood, some folks haven't gotten the memo yet that 4th of July has ended, which means that all 4 of our dogs are still terrified by the noises around them. 3 of those dogs weigh over 100 pounds, so they belong outside. This means that the outside dogs have to come in, and simultaneously they can't be trusted to roam around the house in the middle of the night, which means that I have to sleep on the couch. So if I seem angry, that might be the issue. All of that to say that even though it is indeed July 12th, the spirit of the 4th still lingers. In our cultural consciousness, July is a season of fireworks, flags, and a loud, proud celebration of freedom. We sing of the land of the free, we celebrate our civil liberties and our independence, and as Unitarian Universalists, and I would say as any person who claims a liberal religious outlook, we are called to look deeper than the surface of national mythology. we are called to ask, what does it actually mean to be free? For one thing, we hope that it means that we're better able to live out the values that we proclaim. Many theologians have studied and written about the responsibilities that come with freedom, but perhaps none as fervently or convincingly as the German theologian and pastor Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Writing from a Nazi prison cell in the 1940s, a place entirely devoid of physical liberty, Bonhoeffer spent his final years meditating deeply on what constitutes real, unshakable human freedom, up to and including the freedom to die fighting for what you believe to be true. According to the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, Bonhoeffer was a German pastor and theologian known for his opposition to and criticism of the Nazi regime. When Adolf Hitler ascended to power, Bonhoeffer's own church, the German Evangelical Church, became heavily influenced by Nazification and state Aryan laws, which sought to ban citizens of Jewish descent from ministry and church membership. The Holocaust Museum notes that Bonhoeffer bitterly opposed these measures, arguing that its ratification surrendered Christian precepts to political ideology. Sound familiar? He became a key founding member of the Confessing Church, a movement that fought the state's encroachment on religion, though he often grew frustrated by his peers' reluctance to voice broader political criticism against the regime. As the Holocaust Memorial Museum records, he was ultimately arrested in 1943 and executed in the Flossenburg concentration camp in April 1945 due to his eventual ties to the underground resistance circles trying to overthrow and eventually trying to assassinate Adolf Hitler and Nazi dictatorship. If we look at Bonhoeffer's life, we find a direct alignment with our UU value of transformation. Bonhoeffer was born into immense wealth, academic privilege, and social status. Yet his faith transformed him. He suspended his privileged background to live in poor working-class districts. When he was in the U.S. studying at Union Seminary and his classmates were going to affluent churches in the area, he made his way to Harlem to worship there. He allowed his worldview to be radically altered by people living at the margins. And because of this, when the crisis of his nation demanded it, he did not remain comfortable. He entered the fight with his eyes wide open to the likely consequences. In his famous essay, After 10 Years, written to his closest co-conspirators in the German resistance, he challenged the very foundation of how we define a good and free life. He reminds us that a time of crisis is not a time for rigid formulas. Rather, it demands a transformation of the heart. It's the kind of transformation that takes place when we interrupt our celebrations of freedom to ask what that freedom requires of us. Which leads to today's conversation on the two faces of freedom, freedom from and freedom for. See, when many of us think of freedom, we think about the first side of that coin, freedom from. This is what philosophers call negative freedom, the individualistic release from external constraints or burdens. It's freedom from tyranny, from censorship, from bondage, freedom from fear of the authorities. As you use, this kind of freedom aligns closely with our core values of justice and equity. We fiercely advocate for freedom from oppression, freedom from systemic racism, freedom from the degradation of human dignity. We believe that every person has an inherent right to be free from the structures that crush the human spirit. But Bonhoeffer issued a stark brilliant warning about this kind of freedom. He argued that if our understanding of liberty ends with freedom from, it becomes an empty, selfish vacuum. If freedom is only about breaking the chains so that I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, without regard for anyone else, it isn't actually freedom at all. It's just isolation. It's a focus on the ego. So the other side of the freedom coin is freedom for. Bonhoeffer noted that in the Lutheran tradition that he inherited, humans are not just liberated from condemnation, they are freed to do good. True human freedom is realized only when we turn our gaze outward, living in responsibility and service and love toward our neighbors. In his poem, Stages on the Road to Freedom, Bonhoeffer outlines 4 stages that he calls discipline, action, suffering, and death. Notice that he doesn't define freedom as the absence of limitations. Instead, he argues that freedom requires appropriate boundaries that create the space where one can be free for others. Friends, this is the theological heartbeat of our UU value of interdependence. We weave our lives together because we know that we do not exist in a vacuum. We practice pluralism and generosity because our shared covenant frees us to care for one another, even and maybe especially when we understand that we have differences. When we embrace freedom for, we ask, what am I free for? And hopefully can answer with things like, I am free to love. I am free to choose the burden of my neighbor and help to carry it as my own. I am free to act on behalf of those with the least power, with the smallest voice, with the fewest resources. Bonhoeffer called this civil courage, or free, responsible action. A radical freedom rooted not merely in what is protected by a constitution, but by what love demands of us. He famously wrote that this kind of responsible freedom might even require us to get our hands dirty, to take on guilt, to abandon the self-deception that we can keep ourselves entirely pure from contamination of responsible action. You see, Bonhoeffer understood himself to be a pacifist, following the teachings of nonviolent resistance, and then found himself a part of the conversation about how it was that Adolf Hitler would be assassinated. That's how he ended up in jail. That wasn't an easy shift for him to go from one place to the other, but he had to continually ask what he was being called to based on the freedom that he wanted to claim for himself and the people that he loved. This idea of civil courage mirrors and overlaps the writings of Henry David Thoreau, who similarly championed the idea that individual conscience must override unjust government laws. Just as Bonhoeffer rejected the self-deception of passive neutrality, Thoreau deeply despised passive complicity, critiquing citizens who serve the state mechanically without using their moral judgment. For Thoreau, true civic duty meant being men first and subjects afterward. A philosophy that flipped the script on citizenship by framing the breaking of an unjust law as the ultimate way to maintain moral integrity. So while Bonhoeffer was an Orthodox Lutheran theologian whose explicitly Christ-centered language can sometimes contrast with Unitarian Universalist theology, Unitarians have deeply admired his ethics of resistance, his defense of marginalized groups, and the surprising ways that his later thoughts connect with our own theological heritage. And in his final letters from prison, Bonhoeffer mused about a future religionless Christianity, A world where the traditional, supernatural, and dogmatic structures of the church would fall away, leaving behind a pure focus on secular justice and human solidarity. Unitarian writers have frequently engaged with this concept, and it closely aligns with the UU focus on deeds over creeds and finding the sacred in the secular humanistic action. Conservative critics often write about Bonhoeffer and their concern about his theology because he strongly suggested that he believed in universalism near the end of his life. The theological belief that God will eventually reconcile and save all of humanity rather than sending any person to hell. In fact, his poems written from prison explicitly express his persistent claim that God reconciled the whole world to God's self, believers and unbelievers alike. Because universalism is one half of the historic root of modern Unitarian Universalism, UU scholars and historians frequently point to Bonhoeffer as a historical ally who championed a boundaryless, inclusive love for all people. He recognized that when we are truly free for the world, our circle of care cannot exclude anyone. Writing that God is found in the center of human life through action and solidarity with others. So how do we, theist, atheist, agnostic, humanist, pagan, Wiccan, Jewish, Buddhist, there are probably more in the room, how do we live out this kind of freedom for today? In his article exploring Bonhoeffer's advice for our modern context, theologian Tim Snyder points out that a true Bonhoeffer moment doesn't look like public performance art or grand heroic gestures. It looks like simple, uncomplicated, and honest human beings refusing to let the chaos of the world hollow out their souls. Refusing to let the chaos of the world hollow out our souls. Bonhoeffer reminds us to practice freedom in two very tangible ways. Number one, reclaim your private life as an act of protest. Bonhoeffer wrote from prison that time is only lost if we don't learn from living with both joy and suffering. He advised his friends to find delight and solidarity in private life. In a climate of exhaustion and hostility, throw dinner parties, write letters to friends, make art, dance, find stillness. All of these are acts of resistance. We use our freedom for joy and connection and community. And number two, he would say, is play the long game. Bonhoeffer knew that the things that he was working for were not going to be accomplished before he very likely would die in captivity. He wrote that the ultimately responsible question is not how do I extricate myself heroically from a situation, but rather how is a coming generation going to go on living? Our freedom is meant to be spent as an investment in our future. So we're called to act according to our values, even if we might not be around to reap the benefits later. And at the center of our UU values sits love. And love is the ultimate definition of freedom for. We're free from the fear that tells us to hoard our resources, close our borders, and protect our own. Because we are free from that fear, we're finally free to love. Free to be, as Bonhoeffer aspired to be, people who follow the call of responsibility through discipline and action for the sake of the world. So this week, as the fireworks hopefully fade, let us remember the two faces of our freedom. Let us truly celebrate our freedoms from, as we dedicate our lives for what we are free for justice, for equity, for transformation, for community. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. The interlude is The Rainbow Connection by Paul Williams and Kenneth Asher, arranged by Mark Hayes. This song is about the power of imagination and the importance of dreams, and it's performed by Colleen. Thank you so much, Colleen. Our final hymn this morning is, nope, that's not what I'm saying right now. Our closing words today are Fitted for This Day by Kimberly Quinn Johnson. The first line and the last line are the words of June Jordan in Poem for South African Women, which June Johnson I'm very confused now, which Kimberly Johnson presented, which Jordan presented, the names are switched up in the script, presented at the UN on August 9th, 1978. And here they are. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are not perfect, but we are perfectly fitted for this day. We are not without fault, but we can be honest to face our past as we chart a new future. We are the ones we have been waiting for. May we be bold and courageous to chart that new future. May we have faith in a future that is not known. We are the ones we have been waiting for. Our final hymn this morning is As We Come Marching, Marching. It's number 109 in the gray hymnal, and the words will be on the screens. You're welcome to stand or stay seated, however you are most comfortable, and then stay that way as we close our service.
Feel free to stand and march in place. As we come marching, marching in the beauty of the day, a million darkened kitchens, a thousand workshops gray, are touched with all the radiance that a sudden sun discloses. For people hear us singing, bread and roses, bread and roses. As we come marching, marching, we battles over men. For they are women's children, and other than again. Our lives shall not be swayed from birth until life closes. Hearts starve as well as bodies. Give us bread, but give us roses. As we come marching, marching, unnumbered women dead, go crying through our singing their ancient song of red. Salt and love and beauty, their touching spirits new. Yes, in His bread we fight for, but we fight for roses too. As we come marching, marching, we bring the greater days, the rising of the women meets the rising of the race. No more the drudge and iron, but a sharing of life's glories, bread and roses, bread and roses.
Hey, did you all know that we're hiring a choir director? And go to the Moxie for the movie tonight. And today is birthday lunch at the Hill, 600 East Battlefield, after church today. If you have a birthday this month, you know someone that has a birthday this month, you're a fan of birthdays, you're welcome at the birthday lunch. Eileen can give you more information if you need it. All right. Caro, would you come and extinguish our chalice? And as we begin to extinguish our communal and personal chalices, we will close with our unison sending words. Our service here is ending. Our service to the world begins anew. Go in peace, friends.